Hello, folks, and Oh, there we go. There's Tabletop Simulator. Hello, I'm Aaron, and
Hello.
this is Aislyn, and we're going to show you a little bit of how to play Ivion and just kind of walk you through what a game looks like. Today, we're going to be playing the Ram and the Raven, which is one of our three one of our three boxes in Season 2, Winter's Bite, and one of my personal favorites because it has my favorite season 2 spec, the Steward in it.
Yeah, Stewart's fun. I enjoy the Watcher quite a bit, so I will probably take that one.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pick. We hadn't actually agreed on which one was which, but it sounds like we have our preferences.
It
So
does.
we're going to take the 3 feet, so we're going to set them over the side over here. We'll be using those and trying to trigger these as often as we can during the game because they're like our hero powers and we get them every turn. Then we're going to take our decks, put them over here, shuffle them up, and get ready to go. Put our health trackers in the slots.
Yep, and if you're new to Ivion, this is more or less what you're going to be seeing when you open your first box. So we're going to be playing the Ram and the Raven starter duel, and that includes the Watcher and the Steward, as Aaron said. These decks would come in shrink wrap, so you'd just be able to open them up. They'd be ready to go. Then you're going to be taking your character's health tracker, putting it on your board. You've got your minis per character. They're fairly easy to identify which one goes for who.
Yep,
Um,
yeah, Ivian
yeah,
is perfectly set up to just you open the box, here's a fight, fight once, then worry about customization. That's kind of our philosophy, and let's see that in action. Let's figure out who goes first. Aislinn, do you remember who won last game in the when we did Rune in the Rhyme?
oh goodness.
Or was it Fox in the Forest? No, it was Rune in the Rhyme.
I think I did.
I think you won. I think you won, which means I'm gonna go first. Ha! There's
All
a
right.
way of randomizing. So we're going to start at our maximum health. I actually start with 42 health because I'm a steward. I'm a dude with a shield, and dudes with shields have 42 life. Aislinn does not have a shield. She has 40 life. All right,
Very sad.
so we will shuffle up
And
and
in
draw
Ivian,
5 cards. Sorry, go ahead.
we're going to draw 5 cards. The goal of Ivian is to reduce your opponent's health to 0. So we're going to have different cards in our hand. They're going to be dealing damage. It's going to be a lot of cards that are going to be dealing damage. But there's also going to be cards that are going to be different maneuvers and ways that we can play the game without necessarily doing damage. So we're going to be exploring that as we go throughout this matchup.
So, Aislinn, you should be quaking in your boots because I am coming right off of a tournament that we did earlier today with our Discord community where I went three
Yes.
and one with a steward deck. So my shield is ready, my hammer is ready. Let's do some beatdown. So, start of my
I
first
know,
turn.
seriously.
Oh, go
You've
ahead.
got like you've got like experience. You're ready
Yeah,
to
I'm ready.
go.
I'm like there's a part of me that's like, oh, we got to make it fun for the new players, just teach the game. But there's another part of me who's like, time to kill. And we'll
Apparently, I
see.
am very quiet compared to you, Aaron. So,
Oh, let me turn you up. Yeah,
yeah.
your mic position changed a little bit, and maybe mine did. Okay, this should be a little more balanced, Aislinn. I turned you up a bit.
Yeah, can Malik, can you hear me now? Do I sound okay? Let me know.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's continue.
Yeah, so I gain 3 actions, and I gain an initiative at the start of my turn. I don't draw because
Hmm.
it's the very first turn of the game. So I'm going to start just like I often start with a steward. If a steward has a banner in their hand, you bet they play it turn 1. I'm going to play
Oh yeah.
Warrior's Banner, which attaches to a tile. It doesn't go to the discard like most cards. We're going to play it for 1 action. It gives me power, and if I end my turn near it, I gain a power at the start of my turn. So I'm going to then spend an action to move, just move over here, and then I'm going to use my initiative. I can use this to either move for free or to draw. I'm going to use it to draw a card. All right.
So really quick, Aaron, how did you play that card?
Excellent question. So let's talk about that. So in
Yeah.
Ivian cards, see how there's all those numbers up at the top? Those numbers mean stuff. In Ivian, there are 2 resources. There is actions and power. So this card over here, see in the top left how it has that 1 and the little minus? That means it costs 1 action to play. And over on the top right, it shows how much power my card either costs or generates, because weak cards in Ivian generate power, and strong cards cost power. So you have to play, you have to play weak cards that build power to play strong cards that generate it. Warrior's Banner costs 1 action to play, gives me a power, and then it sticks around and does its permanent thing. Now, How did I pick this tile? How did I know I could attach it to this tile? Well, that's that third number up there. In the top left, see that green number? That is the range of a card. Now, I'm a warrior. Most of my stuff has range 1, but as a rule, most tile modifiers in Ivion have a range of 2. And Ivion, it's similar to Summoner Wars if you've played that. Range is entirely orthogonal, so diagonals are considered 2 away from each other. Uh,
Yeah.
so,
And you're going to see that Ivion is different, especially from a game like Magic the Gathering or Summoner Wars, for example. We're
mhm.
not going to be summoning any creatures onto this board. We are playing our characters. I am the Watcher. Each card in my deck is going to be something my Watcher is doing, and the same is true for Aaron as his Steward. So his Steward placed a banner of the Steward, or excuse me, of the Warrior, actually, in this case. But, yeah, so that's
Yeah,
a very, very unique thing about Avian compared to a lot of other deck construction games you're going to see.
right. So like systematically, Ivian is built a little more like the Magic the Gathering and all those deck customization games, but gameplay feel wise, it's like Dice Throne or Exceed by the level 99 folks. It is a game where the cards are actions your character is playing, which makes it this really cool blend of two genres that is awesome. So
Yes.
I used my initiative to draw a card there, and I actually drew another banner. So
Oh,
I
look
think
at you.
I'm going to spend an action to play the Steward's Banner over there. Now, Steward's Banner, it's similar to Warrior's Banner, but instead of giving me a power at the start of my turn, it gives me a mitigate, which is like a temporary damage shield. Okay, with that,
Did you
I
just have
think,
those lying around in your pockets or something?
you know, yeah, I actually just chopped down this nice tree.
Oh, yeah, great.
All right, I'm going to,
Also, hello, Mike. It's good to see you.
hello,
I
hello.
never know how to say, is this, is it supposed to be new pink or like Nayu
I
pink?
think it's
I don't
Niui
know.
Pink.
I'm not sure. I should probably learn how
Maybe
to
it's
say
like
that.
Noi? I don't know.
Yeah, but anyways, our graphic designer that made all of the amazing graphic design for Avian is currently in chat, which is
Yes.
awesome. Hello.
Hello, Mike. So then with that, I'm going to pass turn over to you, Aislinn, and let's go ahead and see what's going on this side of the field. Ooh, go ahead and
Yeah.
set your team to heart so I
Oh yeah,
can
I got you.
take a peek. Now, normally you're not allowed to look at your opponent's hand, but for the purposes of the stream and making Aislinn's turn a little more interesting, we like to pull it up. Let me get a proper angle for everyone so we can see what's going on. Does that look good? Yeah, we
Yeah.
aren't hiding anything. Go ahead, Aislinn.
Okay, guys, so I have some attacks in my hand, but they're range 1. Aaron is still very far from me, so I can't use those. Really, I'm going to be looking to build some power. First of all, I should probably consider that I should gain my 3 actions, gain my initiative, and draw a card for turn.
So while you're looking at your hand, Aislinn,
Those are pretty important things.
tell me
Excuse me.
what your character's doing. Who is a watcher?
Yeah, so my character's kind of this edgy dude with like a big winter cloak. I've got these 2 crystal short blades that I use to fight my opponents. I also have a raven that will be helping me like reveal my opponent's hand and learn more about their strategy throughout the game. I'm very tricky. I've got lots of instants. I've also got lots of ways to control my opponent. So we're going to be trying to out tempo Aaron, who's a lot more defensive, and then eventually go in for the kill once we've found the right opening.
May I just say, Aislinn? First off, that was an excellent description of watcher, but I'm just gonna
Thanks.
add, this looks like a really rough opening hand.
Yeah, I have to say I didn't get very much power generation here, which is not ideal. However, I do have Icicle in my feat zone, which is a card I can play every single turn. So because of this opener, I'm probably going to be relying on Icicle a lot more than I would be otherwise. However, you also played these 2 banners down, and
Hmm.
I do have a way to destroy one of them,
Oh, you
and that gives me
do.
power as well. So that's probably a good choice for me here.
The question is,
Now,
which one do you
oftentimes,
destroy?
yeah, absolutely. I think in this case, it's probably better for me to destroy the banner of the warrior because I know that you'll be getting so much power from that over the course of the entire game. I probably really want to stop it. So I think I'm going to initiative to move, and then I'm going to action to move. So I'm moving across the board here, And I am going to play Mystify. So just the same way Aaron did these things, I'm going to spend an action because it costs one right there. And then, Aaron, does that resolve?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to destroy your warrior's banner?
Let me check my hand real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are allowed to destroy that warrior's banner.
Okay. In that case, it is mystified. It turns to
Vanishes.
mist. Yeah, it just turns to mist. I
I
guess
need
that's the
to
flavor. That
I need to
works.
grab my headphone charger real quick. So, go ahead and keep
Okay.
going on your turn. I don't have any responses.
Okay. All right. In that case, I'll continue for the fine folks at home. Now, I only have one action, one power left, so I'm probably not going to be doing much more anyways. Especially because if I moved, I won't have an action left, so I can't even like icicle. So I think at this point it's probably in my best interest just to wait because I really need to conserve my power with the cards I have in my hand. I drew a lot of power cost. So yeah, I will just ultimately pass my turn to Aaron, who should be coming back at any minute now. I'll let him know when he gets back.
All right, I am back. Are you holding your resources and passing turn?
I am. I don't really think I have anything else I can do, so I think it's best for me to just wait.
I see Alden Noir saying slapping down banners all over again, huh? Well,
Yeah,
just because you
it's like the
can't seem
tournament.
to draw them, you didn't run three banners of the Stewart. You didn't actually want the banners. See, I actually believe in them. I'm running both in this deck and the deck that I beat you in the tournament with.
Wow.
So, you know,
Calling it like it
I'm just
is.
saying, like, you wanna play banners, you gotta have them in your deck. All right. So I gain three actions. I draw a card, and I gain an initiative. Let's take a look at that hand. Now, I would have loved to have gained a power, but the Banner of the Warrior was destroyed. So,
Hmm.
okay, we've
It
got.
actually turned to mist, was not destroyed.
What does that card say? Mystify. Choose one. Turn target card to mist.
Look, watchers don't destroy things. I turn them. You know what? Never mind. I'm done with this bit. Please go ahead and take your turn.
I'm gonna spend an initiative. Now, last time I spent it to draw a card, but I'm happy with my hand right now. I'm gonna spend my initiative to move. Then I'm gonna spend an action to move.
Okay.
Important note, I could have spent two actions to move. You can do as many actions as you can afford during your turn. There's no limit to those. I just have been, I try to avoid spending actions to move because I want to use them to do damage, which I'm about to do right now. I'm going to spend one action to play Hammer Strike.
Okay. So Aaron is playing the first attack card of the game. This card is very simple. It simply deals 5 damage to an enemy. Most of the time, attack cards will have something else that they're doing. Usually not too much, but this one is just in your face. Just 5. So yeah, at this point, I would get an opportunity to potentially respond with an instant card if I had a way in my hands to like disorient Aaron or move away or do something else interesting. I do not at the moment though, so I am simply going to allow it to happen. I allow it, Aaron. I
Ah, I
allow it.
see, I see.
Yes.
All right, so that gives me a power. This goes
Yeah.
to the discard, and now I am in the nice situation where I have. Actually, I was thinking of playing Crushing Weight, but that's because I forgot I have Blood Spatter in my hand. So I hit her so
Oh.
hard that I caused a spatter of blood to fly into this
Oh,
tile.
jeez.
So
Oh
this
my
is a card I can
gosh.
only play immediately after resolving an attack, and it
Yeah.
attaches to a tile. And now, if she is there at the start of my turn, she loses a resource. I also gain a power from that. Does that resolve?
It does resolve. And I just remembered, I feel like we should give a little bit of context to why these characters are fighting. Because why are they just slapping each other silly?
Oh, sure.
Doesn't
I'd
really
love.
make much sense.
Do you want to go for it, or should I?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So, the world of Winter's Bite it's set in an island with an eternal winter. Things are rough. Now, what's causing that? We don't know. Um, my character, the steward, represents the leaders of the holds and villages in this island. I am a leader of a community, and I defend against giants or anybody who might cause trouble in my town. Now, Aislyn is a Watcher. The Watchers are a secretive organization that are trying to basically police the use of ice magic in the in on this island. They
Okay.
they're, they believe it is their charge to control and train ice wielders to use their powers to not, kill people, basically. Anyway,
Right.
this Watcher has rolled up into my town to take somebody who was found with the gifts. Kind of like Elsa. Like quite literally, Elsa is a great example of what a Winterborn might look like in Ivion.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Watcher has come to take this girl, and
Right.
I am
From your clan.
from my clan, and I am here to say, no, sir, you're not going
Right.
to take my people.
And I say, yes, I am, because she's a Winterborn and she's got to go.
Yeah,
And so we're fighting.
you're just basically like trying to enlist her in Hogwarts, and I'm like, I'm not about that.
Yep.
So I'm then going to play, now that I played my Blood Spatter, I'm going to play
Hmm.
Crushing Weight for 3 power. This is a very powerful card,
It is.
and it attaches to me, and what it says is every attack I do, the first attack I do each turn, also causes my opponent to lose a resource. And also, whenever I cause my opponent to lose a resource, be it from Crushing Weight or any other effect, they take a damage. It was a very powerful card and a huge part of what makes Stewart a strong, competitively viable spec. In my opinion,
Yes.
I am a huge fan of Crushing Weight.
It's
Does
a good card.
does Crushing Weight resolve?
I wish it didn't, but it does.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Now, I could Shield Slam, but I think I'm going to just hold up my action and power because I have an instant in my hand, and maybe we'll get to see that next turn. But
Now, it's important to note that I had that card called Mystify that could destroy a card. All these cards, well, specifically these 3 cards that you see that are on the board right now, they're all attached to targets. The 2 in the middle are attached to tiles on the board, so they're part of this spatial element. But Crushing White, the card Aaron just played, is attached to himself,
mhm.
which means that it will always follow him around. It counts as existing in the tile he is in because Aaron has that. If I had another way to destroy a card, I could potentially destroy Crushing Weight, which would be very good because Crushing Weight's going to continuously like stun me and deal more damage to me, so it's not going to be good for me over the course of the game. Unfortunately, I already used my destroy card and I don't have another one right now, so I'm going to need to tough it out or just get lucky and draw another. And that's a part of like how deck building is going to work for you while you're playing the game too.
So I believe you haven't gained your actions for the turn.
Oh, yes, it's my turn. Excellent. Yes, so I'm going to gain 3 actions. I'm going to gain an initiative. I'm going to draw a card. Thank goodness it gains me power. I really needed that because I have a lot of Barragoths in my hand. Um, Aaron's already right next to me. I'm also range 1, although I do have some range 2 stuff. But I think I'm okay with being in melee right now.
Even
For
next to
now,
the Blood Spatter.
I'm probably going to have to leave melee before my turn ends, but for now, I'm okay with it. It does make me wonder, though, if I should spend my initiative now or wait.
Mm, interesting questions,
It
for
is
sure.
actually like a tough choice. I think I'll wait because I do have some ways to gain power right now. So let's see what happens. I'm going to play this new card I drew. I'm going to play Glacialize, targeting you. I'm going to rise up the ice magic from the ground and use it to strike at you.
So I have an opportunity to respond to that, and I could do that, but I'm actually gonna let that go through, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But I take
Oh.
4 damage. One,
Mm-hmm.
two, three, 4, and I get a silence. So this is
Yes.
a whole new type of thing. What does getting a silence mean? Well, Aislinn,
Yeah.
do you want to talk about it in the context of cards in your hand?
Sure, yeah. So I just silenced Aaron with a card. It said that it silenced him. Um, so let's just like think of this from the perspective of like if I had a silence on myself looking at my own hand. on each of my cards, there's a little banner with 3 circles to the left of the text. That is the types of control that each of those cards is affected by. Silence is one of the 3 types of control. So you can see on that silence token, it's got the little scroll with the dot, dot, dot. That is also on each of these cards. It's the middle one. And then there's also this like vortex at the top and then a sword at the bottom. The 3 types of control are slow, silence, and disarm in that order. Um, so if we look at like Crystal Blade, for example, which is the card on the far left of my hand right now, that card is only affected by silence. And the way you can tell that is because the little blue scroll in the middle is colored in and the other 2 on top or bottom are not. Um, I cannot play any cards in my hand that are affected by any of the types of control that I am currently affected by. If I was silenced, I could not play Crystal Blade. I could not play Frost Snatch. I could play the 3 cards in the middle. I could play Crystal Slash and Rhyme Shock, no problem, because they're not affected by silence.
Yep.
You can be affected by multiple types of control at the same time. You could be affected by all of them at the same time. You can also be affected by up to 5 instances, which is just 5 tokens, at a time of any of the types of control. Technically, you could be affected by 5 slow, 5 silence, and 5 disarm at the same time. If that were the case, you would be in a
You'd
very bad
probably
spot.
lose.
Normally that doesn't happen, so that's okay. But anyways, I can't play these cards that are affected by the type of control I'm currently affected by, so what do I do? Well, ideally, I play cards in my hand that are not affected by the types of control I'm currently affected by, because whenever I spend resources, which is a term for either the orange lightning bolts, which we call actions, or the blue diamonds or gems, which we call power, collectively refers to. So both actions and power are considered resources. Whenever I spend these resources in any way, I remove that many tokens of control from myself. So if I was affected by 2 silence, let's say, and then I played Crystal Slash, which costs 1 action and 1 power, I removed 2 of the silence tokens. If I was affected by 3 silence and I played Crystal Slash, I only spent 2 resources, so I only get rid of 2 of the silence tokens, and I would still have 1 of them on me. But basically, a big part of playing Ivion is figuring out how do I get rid of the control affecting me in an efficient way so that I can keep playing the turn the way I want to. Now let's go back to that scenario where I did have 5 slow, 5 silence, and 5 disarm affecting me. I'm in a really, really bad spot. I can't play any of the cards in my hand, of course. I can spend resources during my turn, 1 for 1, either actions or power, to remove that many tokens that are affecting me. So if I'm in a horrible spot and I just can't do anything, I can always spend resources to remove control. That's the inefficient way to do it, though. You want to avoid that if possible. So that's my lecture on control.
Hmm. And that is pretty much everything you need to know about control. There's going to be some fun things we'll discover in the future about how it works. The one extra caveat is if you are affected by slow, you cannot move or use your initiative to move.
Yes, that is the one extra rule about control that can be very relevant or can sometimes not be very important at all. It really depends on the context of the battle you're in.
So, lecture sideline over. You had just played Glacialize on me, and
Yeah.
I am now affected by a silence.
So with that new context of control in mind, me applying 1 silence to Aaron, it's not a huge deal. Aaron's probably going to be able to get out of it. But it's just a little bonus that Glacial Eyes had that might mess with his game plan. Plus, if I can apply more control to him this turn, it might end up becoming important. We will see. With all that said, I do still need to generate power because that was a situation we were in. So I'm actually going to use one of my feats, Aaron. Do you want to talk about feats?
Yeah, so feats are these cards over on the side. You chose them during deck building. How you get them, that's not as important. Well, you can read about that in the rules reference. They
Mm-hmm.
either are passives or just a card with a cost. If they have a cost, like Icicle here, you play them just like they're a card in your hand, and once you play it, you can't play it again until your next turn. Others
Yeah.
are passives, and their effects are always in effect, depending on what they do. They, I mean, it's widely varied. Aislyn has an effect Icicle, does 2 damage, and advantage means if their target is affected by control, you do an additional damage. Wary is going to
Wait till
be
I
something that
have.
comes up when she second wins, which is a mechanic we haven't talked about yet, and we'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just wanted to show that like I have Icicle. It's a card I always have access to once per turn. And it does give me a power, which is really important in this situation. So I am going to play Icicle targeting your face.
All right. Icicle does resolve. So it would do 2
Okay.
damage normally, but because I have that silence on me, it does
Oh,
an
that's my
extra
health,
damage.
Aaron.
Oh, well, damn it. All right. One, two,
Good
three.
try.
Yeah, I almost got away with it.
Good try. All right, so I can't play that again this turn, so we're going to just tap it to the side. Don't tell Wizards of the Coast. And I do actually have some power now. I do still want to save my initiative because I probably don't want to annex this blood spatter. But I also want to use some of these attacks. So I'm like, what do I do? You know, I think I will use my initiative. I'll step away because I do have a range 2 attack in my hand. So I can fight from range, whereas Aaron kind of struggles to do that. So I think I'll play Rhyme Shock.
All right.
So this
So,
card's pretty cool because it's going to deal 6 damage to Aaron, but it also has a keyword called Advantage, which Icicle had as well. So because Aaron is controlled by one or more of the types of control, it's additionally going to slow him too. So he's going to get some more control on him. This is really good for me because if he's slowed, he can't move towards me, which I think he needs to do because he's a steward. So like all of his stuff is melee. So that's another way that the ranged and spatial element is coming into play here.
however,
Do you have a response?
I do have a response. So, I am going
Uh-oh.
to play a card. So when we've been talking about do you have a response, some cards in the game
Yeah.
have a little purple exclamation point on them. That means they're an instant, and you can play them in response to another card. These are fast tricks that do certain things. So I'm going to spend this power to play Goad. Now, since I spent a resource to play Goad, I can remove this silence. And it's also important to note Goad is not affected by silence. See how it's grayed out? If it was, I wouldn't be allowed to play it, but since it isn't, I can, and it does remove silence. So I respond by playing
Yep.
Goad. Now Goad says disarm
Very
2 target
nice.
opponent. Now this is the interesting kicker with control. You did such a great job lecturing about control before, Aislinn. Do you want to talk about how control works with instants?
I do, yeah, sure. So if Aaron plays Goad, I have an opportunity to respond with an instance of my own that could potentially jeopardize his instance, and et cetera, and et cetera. Of course, you have to pay resources to play instance, so you can't just keep doing that forever. Plus, you know, you only have a limited number of instances in your hand at any given point. Anyways, if Aaron's Goad resolves, he's going to disarm me too. And then my Rhyme Shock, my attack that I wanted to use against him, is going to check one more time as it's resolving. And it'll be like, am I a legal card to play? Uh, and it would check and it would be like, no, because my owner is affected by disarm. So I am meta countered, which means I lose the card. It goes to my discard. However, I gain the resources I spent to play it back. So in this case, I spent 1 action, 1 power. I would gain those resources back, lose the card, not get the damage or anything else it does.
Yeah.
This has not happened yet because I'm considering playing
Mm-hmm.
my own instant, which you might be aware of. So I'm not
Yes.
actually disarmed yet. I'm not affected by any control yet because these things are attempting to resolve.
And yes, you can play counters to counters. So I guess more appropriately, this power is still over here. Because I could gain
Yes,
it back
it's
if it gets
it's
meta countered.
potentially, yeah, it's currently committed. But I am going to play a totally separate concept of a card.
Excellent.
I'm going to play Frost Snatch targeting Goad. So I'm going to play a card that specifically says counter target card. And this is more like what you might expect from Magic the Gathering or other games that have counters. If I successfully counter Aaron's Goad, he loses the resources he spent to play it. He loses the card. It's just like a total loss. However, counters in Ivion are a lot more expensive, for one, and almost every single counter in the game, you can basically just brute force through. Like this card says counter target card unless its controller spends 3 additional resources. So if Aaron had 3 additional resources to spend on Goad, he could just ignore the effects of my counter. However, he does not, which means he
Nope.
cannot ignore the effects of my counter.
And I don't have
So,
a response to Frost Snatch, so now we start resolving.
yep. And so Aaron's card is countered. He loses the power. He
Hmm.
doesn't get the effects. And Frost Snatch has its own additional text that says if that card is countered, which it was, additionally slow to the card its controller. So I'm getting a huge swing of slow on Aaron from this whole experience we
So,
just had.
so since Frost Snatch resolved, these resources are gone. This goes to the
Hmm.
discard. Then its effect causes my goad to go to the discard and for my resources to be gone.
Yep.
However, the silence I removed with by playing goad, that is still gone. I do get
Yes.
the 2 slow from Frost Snatch. Now, Rhyme Shock, we're finally back to it. It's you're not affected by disarm, so Rhyme Shock resolves, removing the resources
Yep.
and then going to the discard, doing 6 damage to me. One, two, three, four,
Perfect. My
five,
evil
6.
plan.
Yeah, that was a heck of a turn.
Yeah, we'll see if it pans out for me. But anyways, that slows you even more. So,
Oh, it does another 2. Okay, so now,
uh-huh.
dang, that's a lot of slow.
Yeah. It is. 4 slow is a pretty decent amount, especially because Aaron doesn't have any power. This might be pretty tough for him to get out of at this point.
Hmm.
But with that, I have no resources whatsoever. So it is your turn, Aaron.
Excellent. I like it when it's my turn. So, I gain 3 actions. I draw a card, and I gain an initiative. Let's take a look at what we got. We got a card, Shield Wall. Pretty neat card. However, it's affected by slow. So, I cannot play that right now. We're just gonna flip it over. We don't have to think about it. Fortunately, one of the cool things about being a warrior is you get some really cool ways of getting rid of control. Range 1 classes
Uh-oh.
in general have some good answers to control because they're the ones who are most vulnerable to being shot out of position and slowed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Tenacity. So Tenacity just says remove 2 instances of control from myself. So I'm going to choose these 2 slow and gain 2 mitigate. Oh, and that reminds
You,
me,
yeah.
I also gain a mitigate from Steward's Banner because I'm near it at the start of my turn. So I got 3 mitigate. Mitigate is one of Steward's mechanics. It is pretty simple. It takes damage before my hit points take damage, and at the start of my turn, any mitigate that wasn't removed from damage then gets removed. So this only lasts until the start of my next turn. Okay, so that's not so bad. I'm pretty happy with that. However, I only have 1 card in my hand. Still can't play because I'm slowed. I'm going to use an initiative to draw a card. Let's take a look at that. Hey, also affected by slow. Unlucky. However, not the worst thing to see. So, I am in a situation where I really do just need to spend resources to get to Aislyn. So I'm going to spend 2 actions to get rid of the slow, which is
And that's really
unlucky.
good for me.
Yes,
It would be much more ideal for Aaron if he had a way to get rid of it without having to just straight up spend actions. So that tells me that the slow I applied was effective.
right. Ivion is a lot about using your resources more optimally than your opponent, and so that control was really good at because it just I mean it basically paid for itself right there.
Right.
I'm going to spend an action to play charge.
Yeah, and I actually don't have any resources, and we made sure so that every single instant card in the game costs at least 1 resource. So if you see that your opponent has no resources at all, you know that they do not have instant interaction. So in
Yes.
this case, there's no way I could respond to this. Aaron's charge occurs.
And that decision was made just so the game plays a little quicker cuz like, legacy magic is great and all, but having to play around Force of Will and ask for stuff to respond, it's a lot. It's nicer when things aren't free.
Yeah.
So I go here and I stun you. Stunning makes you lose a resource which you don't have. However, you still count as being stunned for the purposes of cards such as Crushing Weight. And this says
Right.
after you stun an opponent, deal 1 damage to them. So please, Aislinn, take a damage.
Oh, that weight is crushing. Oh my goodness.
And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use my feat, Shield Slam. So, if all else fails, the steward always has their trusty shield to bap for damage. So we're going to spend 1 action, 1 power, and we're going to play Shield Slam. Shield Slam
Yeah.
does 5 damage, and if I have Mitigate, which I do, stun them. So let's go through this. Aislinn, first you take 5 damage.
Ow. 5 more. One, two,
Then,
three, four, 5.
since I have Mitigate, you get stunned, which causes Crushing Weight to do 1 damage to you.
Ah, oh my goodness. The
In a
weight of 1,000 suns. Okay.
Exactly. In addition, Crushing Weight says after I resolve my first attack, which Shield Slam was, I get to stun you an additional time. So you get stunned an additional time and take an additional damage.
Wow. Oh my gosh, the stuns. What a
Lot of
stunning
stun.
display,
That was an
Aaron.
truly stunning display. And
I'm actually
so,
glad I didn't have any resources to lose because I would have lost a
yeah,
lot
it
right
was a good
there.
move, I think, to do that Frost Snatch, because otherwise you were just gonna lose. You got stunned 3 times this turn, so.
That was a lot of stun. The charge was good.
So then I'm gonna pass over to Aislinn.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so I gain my 3 actions. I gain an initiative. I draw a card. Okay, I drew another card with power generation. Feel like my luck is turning around a little bit. It's pretty good. Evasive Strike is the card I drew, which is really nice. It deals a decent amount of damage at range 1, but then I get to travel up to 2 tiles. So I can like hit Aaron and then dash away basically. Which might play into my hands. We'll see. It could be good. Unfortunately, I don't really have any other slowing options right now, so I can't slow him down and then run away like I did last time very easily. And because of that, I think I am going to spend my initiative to draw. I think I need to see some more. Okay,
Hey,
another
there you
evasive
go.
strike.
Oh wow, we turned
Well,
Evasive Strike to 5 damage, didn't we?
we did. It's a
Whew,
lot better than it
that's
was
a
in the first
lot.
printing
That's not bad.
in Winter Storm. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a pretty good card. And it is travel up to 2 tiles, so I don't actually have to leave if I don't want to. I don't know if that's a good choice, though, per se.
Mm,
So you only have 1 card in your hand.
that is
Interesting.
accurate. Oh, whoops. There we go.
That is not a lot of cards.
It is not.
So I have the card advantage right now, but whether I can actually capitalize on that is probably a whole nother whole nother story. I think I'm just gonna play an evasive strike to just get 5 damage in.
And
Because
that
I really need the
resolves.
power generation. I don't
So
actually think I'm gonna move away with it.
one,
Because I
two,
have another
three
one.
comes to my mitigate, then 4 and 5. I am at 27, and if I'm correct, Aislinn, you're also at 27. We're tied up. How about that?
Wow, that's pretty good. Oh man, what do I do? I don't think controlling you is super effective right now either because you just don't have very many cards. You're really low on cards. However, you can potentially, I don't know if you have power generation in your hand, but you'll be able to draw 2 more cards, so you'll probably be able to generate power to play Shield Slam.
It's a fair bet for sure.
Decisions, decisions. What should I do? What should I do? You know, I feel like I just need to really generate some power, to be honest. So I'm just going to play Icicle for 2 damage.
Yep,
Unfortunately, not getting the advantage portion, but it's still worth it, I think, in this
that
situation.
resolves.
2, 3, 4. Oh dear, I've put myself in a position where if I hit you with my last evasive strike, you're going to second wind, which we haven't talked about yet. I don't know if that was quite the right decision for myself, but at this point, I think I'm committed. I will play my last evasive strike to deal 5 more damage to you.
All right, and so I do take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And
Uh-oh.
first of all, we're going to finish the resolution of evasive strike. I may travel up to 2 tiles. I do choose to do that this time. I'm going to sloop-de-doop over here to
Sloop-de-doop, huh?
get away from Aaron. Yeah,
All right.
you've seen my sloop-de-doop maneuver now.
I'm gonna have to counter with my Slurk-de-Dirk.
Okay. Well, I've forced you to flip your health tracker, Aaron. So what does that mean?
Yeah, so when you flip your health tracker for the first time in a game, you second wind. This is where your character starts screaming uncontrollably, crosses their eyes, and lets out their guttural anime yelp. This is where the orchestral music swells and the game enters the next act.
Wow,
Okay,
that is
but
dramatic.
but in a less dramatic way, here's what happens. When you flip over your health tracker for the first time in a game, you second wind. Now, by default, some things modify it, but by default, when you second wind, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and you put 2 in your hand and the rest on the bottom. So let's take a look. I have that in my hand already. I get to pick 2 of these, and I think that what we all want to see from this second act is more damage, because damage
That's
is
right.
cool. So I'm going to
Damage is
take
great.
this card and this card. The main reason I pick them is because they're both attacks that do damage, and I feel like I'm confident in my position in this game. So who needs counter spells or interaction? We are all about killing here.
Oh, killing? Wait a minute. This was just like a dispute of honor at first. Now we're talking about killing?
Heck yeah,
That
we
might be a
are.
little intense.
You're slipty dipping all over the place. I can't allow that. You're trying to steal my citizens or something. I mean, this is a duel to the death.
Okay, well, now the stakes have been upped. That things
Evian
are truly
Evian's an
dramatic now.
intense game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
wow. Oh my
knows? Who knows
God.
what's gonna happen in Act 3?
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I didn't realize we were in a duel to the death. No one told me we were in a duel to the death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's why
Okay.
we have that skull on the 0 health tracker. Just because it's an intense
True.
game.
That's
It's
that's fair.
yeah. We mean
All
business.
right.
All right. So I second winded.
Yeah.
Uh,
So play passes back to me after you finished your second wind.
yep.
As it was my turn, so my turn resumes. Um, I don't think I want to use my ultimate. I need to be very careful with the power that I have at the moment, so I'm gonna pass. It's your turn.
All right. I draw a card. Gain an initiative. Gain 3 actions. And thanks to Steward's Banner, gain a mitigate.
And
And, thanks for bringing it up, because I completely
yeah,
forgot, I also gain 2 mitigate from resilience. Now, I can gain mitigate, and it does stack with itself up to a maximum of 5. I can't have more than 5 mitigate, unless a
yeah.
card specifically allows me to. So, this is where we're at. Aislyn's over there, and I want her, well, dead. Probably. I guess we can put you under citizen's arrest if we'd like. I'm gonna use my
You're like the
initiative.
leader of your clan. You don't have to put me under citizen's arrest. You can just
Just put you under normal arrest.
yeah. You don't have to sell yourself short like that.
I'm gonna initiative here. I'm gonna spend an action to come over here, and we're gonna smack you. You ready for the smack?
Yeah,
Good,
do it.
because it's gonna happen.
All right.
Smack. I'm gonna play Careful Strike. Deal
That's a
5
good
damage to
smack.
target enemy, gain 2, mitigate. What you gonna do about that, huh?
I'm not going to do anything except take 5 damage.
Well, in
That's what I'm going
addition,
to
you're
do
gonna
about
take
it.
something else. You're gonna take a stun from Crushing Weight
Oh, yeah,
and
you're right.
a damage from Crushing Weight,
Yep.
and I get
Oh, the weight is crushing. Oh, dear.
2 mitigate, as they
I
say.
do fear that it's going to be my helmet on your shelf here pretty soon.
You don't have a helmet. I think, I don't know.
Does that mean it's going to be my head? I think it might.
Ugh,
That's
that's
not
kind of
good.
intense. I don't know. Maybe
Well,
we
you've
should.
been
You know,
talking about killing.
maybe we should de-escalate. Maybe this is a little more friendly. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Maybe our steward and our watcher are de-escalating right now.
Yes.
Or maybe they're just both running out of steam. They're probably getting pretty tired at this point.
It's a lot. However, it's not quite enough. I'm going to follow up with a shield slam.
Oh no.
1 action, 1 power.
Oh, the stuns. Yeah,
That's
that happens.
5 damage in a stun. which is then
Yes.
another damage. So 6 damage in a stun.
6 damage. Okay, so I am also going to be flipping my health tracker over here, which is going to cause me to second wind. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. I am down to 15 health, and I'm stunned, so I lose another power. Then I second wind. So we're going to do the same thing Aaron did here. Look at some extra cards to keep us going.
Oh, whoops. There we go.
Okay, so we see an avalanche, which does a ton of damage and is very good. Unfortunately, it costs 4 power, which I don't think I can easily get right now, so I should probably not worry too much about that. I could get Wintertide and return an attached card to its owner's hand, which would be really good to do on Crushing Weight, because Crushing Weight's really expensive to play. And I do need the power, so I think that's a good choice. Aaron has a ton of mitigate, so I'm a little worried that I'm not going to be able to do super high amount of damage. But I still think I need to take the Sleep Blast because I need more damage. So I'm going to take Wintertide, and I am going to take Sleep Blast. The other 3 are going to go on the bottom, and Aaron's turn is going to resume.
All right. I have no resources, so now I am going to pass to Aislyn. Aislyn, you are at 14?
I'm at 15. I was at 21. You hit me
6.
for
21
6.
minus 6 is 15. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Um,
Okay.
go ahead, Aislinn. This is
3
looking kind of
actions.
grim.
Initiative. I know, like, you've got the fact that you have 5 initiative, or excuse me, 5 mitigate
Mitigate.
right now.
It's a
Yeah,
lot.
it is. And
Mm.
Emperor says, I love the second wind. It's a nice comeback mechanic.
Well,
I
thank you very
agree.
much.
Yeah, thank you. It really helps the game keep flowing at a good pace, I think. And it's especially helped the game keep flowing at a nice pace during this specific match because we were both really low on cards, and then we got right back up. So yeah, I'm
So it
pretty
was
happy with it.
actually it was a good innovation that we had to when we were designing Ivion. Originally, it didn't have second wind. That was something we added in pretty well into development, like about 6 months in, where we were having this
Yeah.
problem where Ivion games started feeling like arm wrestling matches, where you just were fighting and trying your best until someone slowly ran out of steam and the game ended. And it was interminable. It just didn't stop. And
Yeah. There needed
while
to be something that broke it
there needed to
into
be
pieces.
something that just shook up the balance, made it have this 3 act structure. Because I think that a game needs to have a beginning, middle, and end, and have these events that feel like we're transitioning into different phases. And so having the one player second wind, then there's a new act, and then once both players second wind, you're in the finale part, and that has really helped add to Ivion's pacing and made it a much more entertaining game. And it's something we
Yeah.
plan on exploring in the future, is figuring out ways to make the game move consistently forward and have that energy. It's a huge part of our design goals, and we've got some very exciting things in store for making Ivion feel just even better.
Totally.
Yeah. So, sorry, I know we talked about like we're not going to go on designer rants this time. We're going to focus on the game, but I
We
couldn't help
can't avoid
myself.
it. Yeah, we can't avoid it. It's okay.
All right,
It's okay.
let's see it.
Okay, so I did take this Winter Tide, which I think will be pretty useful to use against your crushing weight. So, um, maybe I should just wait to play it because it's instant speed,
It
which is
depends
like
if you want the power.
the power. Yeah. Do I need it? I probably do. Um, yeah, I'll just play it right now. So I'm gonna return crushing weight to your hand.
And that happens.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm at 2 actions, 2 power now. I drew this instant card, which is going to probably be very useful in the future. So that's good. I have these really strong attacks, but I don't know, like Aaron has 5 mitigates, so I feel like dealing too much damage this turn is not very good, unfortunately for me. I kind of want to force Aaron to move closer to me
Move
and
closer.
just
I'm
wait
next
it
to you.
out.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
well,
You're gonna. I got it.
I
Figured it out.
I kind of want to move away. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to do like quite as much as I wanted to be able to on this turn.
My thought is, when I see where you're at, my instinct as an Ivian player is
Yeah.
I have to be given. I have to see a good reason to play cards this turn because I'm at 2 actions. I
Yeah.
got 2 power. I've got an instant ready. So
Yeah. And that's how I feel right now is like I'm not going to be wasting any resources if I don't do too much. Plus, I have a way to defend myself. So I
definitely.
think I will just spend my initiative to step away a little
Hmm.
bit and just wait it out, especially because you have that temporary hit points that's going to be going away. I don't need to be dealing damage to that. So I will pass to you.
Well, not unfortunate, but something I found very interesting about Stewart, while I just get my opening turn here, is yes, none of this mitigate did anything, but that was a great opportunity for me to continue just moving forward because Aislinn couldn't do anything about it. And you can almost
Right.
use mitigate as a tempo tool because if Aislinn spends every turn waiting for my mitigate to go away, and I'm always playing sources of mitigate, then like I just slowly am forcing her out of positions to make attacks. It's
Yeah.
really fascinating and very deep mechanic. I'm a huge fan. I'm a little biased, of course, but so I drew a
It's
cripple.
definitely showing its depth right now. I agree.
Yes. So cripple is the warrior's greatest opener. Deals 5 damage and slows, and most every instant in the game is affected by slow. So this just turns off interaction and lets you get in there. And I think I am in a position where I just need to get in there. I definitely feel like I have the momentum here. So I'm gonna spend an initiative so I could go there. This is interesting. I think. Oh, I also get a mitigate from being next to Stewart's banner, and that might
I
come
feel
up.
like you probably want to force me into a position where I have to stand near blood spatter
That's kind of
because
what
I
I'm
don't want to
thinking.
be there.
But if I do
Yeah.
that, then I am forcing myself away from Steward's banner. And I'm thinking ultimately I would rather have you be near Blood Spatter and have to worry about that. So I'm going to initiative here, and I'm going to play that cripple I drew. So if Aislinn wants to respond, she's going to have to do it to cripple.
Right, because instant cards are affected by slow. So if I don't respond to cripple now, I'm not going to be able to play my instant card later this turn. And I really don't want to give Aaron a good turn to deal more damage to me. So I think I am forced to play my instant card right now. So I'm going to play Mist Line. The flavor here is that my character's turning into mist and like dashing away
You like
from
turning
his
things into
attack.
mist.
I'm a watcher. I turn things to mist.
Well, you're certainly
Uh,
turning my cripple into a mist, because my cripple missed.
good.
All right. Um,
So
where are you
this
heading?
card has range 2, and I travel to a target tile with it. So I can travel to any tile within range 2 of my character. As Aaron said before, there's no diagonals, so I have to count orthogonally. Um, Unfortunately, if I pick those 2 tiles that are near Aaron's steward right now, his cripple will still hit me because it's range 1. So I really need to just travel there, basically. I could also choose this tile here that's like not near his blood spatter, but I think I'm probably in a better position right now if I get a little further away from him because I'm kind of concerned he could still do a lot of damage to me. So
And
I will move.
And that makes a lot of sense, especially because Blood Spatter is triggering on the start of my turn, so she has a whole nother turn to worry about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Okay,
So
so that happens.
that means that when Crippled comes, tries to resolve, I'm not affected by Disarm, so it's not worried about that. However, there's a range 1 card, and she's no longer within range 1, which means this gets meta countered. It goes to my discard, and I get refunded the resource I spent to play it. We have actually shown off every single way that a card can fail to resolve, which is kind of neat.
It is. It's been kind of surprising how much that's come up this game.
So I think, I think I just am gonna like kind of Terminator mode, just spend an action, move over here, and then just pass. I'm
Terminator mode.
like, yeah, I'm just inevitably just chasing after you. You know what we
At
complete?
this point, I think my watcher's like, okay, fine,
Okay,
like
okay,
I
Aislinn,
won't take the Winterborn. Just leave me alone.
Aislinn, we're bad at this game.
Yeah, so I actually saw that after the fact, after we'd forgotten, but you didn't end up playing another card targeting me anyways.
Did I not?
No, I don't think you did. So it didn't end up becoming particularly relevant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, okay. Okay, because I just did the 6 damage to you.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
it kind of
Okay.
worked out for you,
Great. Well,
though we forgot about it.
we complete. Yeah. Well. All right. There's nothing we can do about that. It sounds like
Yeah.
it worked out fine though. So I'm gonna pass turn to you, Aislinn.
All right.
Let's see
So I'm gonna
what
gain
you
three
got.
actions. I do have 5 actions now, which is pretty great. Okay, I drew a nice little bit of power generation. This is a card that attaches to a tile, so I'd have to think about where I want to put it. Now the thing is Aaron's going to be at 5 actions next turn, and he has a decent amount of cards in his hand at this point. So I'm a little concerned that he might be able to win the game if I'm not too careful. So I feel like I need to go into this applying a decent amount of control to him. And to do that, I feel like I should start by playing Permafrost. So I'm going to play Permafrost attached to this tile.
Okay. That resolves.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
What
Wait, that's
happens?
going to make it difficult terrain, which is going to make it harder for me to move into it.
You'll just have to go into the blood spatter.
I know, I don't want to be in the blood spatter. I might have to accept. I guess if it's difficult terrain.
You could have
Yeah.
moved. You could move and then play it like there if you wanted.
Oh yeah. I think I want to do that.
Do
Let's do
that,
that
yeah.
instead.
Oh, and takesies, backsies are allowed in most Ivion settings.
Takesy backsy.
Hmm.
Move that there.
Yep.
Use my initiative to move. Then I'm going to play Permafrost
If you ever
in that
need like
tile.
a source to allow yourself a takesy, backsy in Ivion, for as long as this Twitch video is up, you can point to this and go, "Hey, the dev said I can take it back." So that's it.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yes, the
Uh,
greatest kitchen table rule.
it's not kitchen table anymore. I decreed it. Okay.
Sure.
So permafrost resolves.
Okay, so I spent 2 actions to apply Permafrost, but I also gained 2 power.
Hmm.
Now we've got some power. That's pretty nice. I'm happy about that. So I'm gonna finally play this card that has been in my hand for pretty much the whole game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play Crystal Blade.
you've been fighting your power generation like for
I
a
know.
lot of the game. You've done well for yourself, but it hasn't been easy.
I've
Crystal,
drawn a lot of power generation, so I really do
yeah,
think my hand was just kind of unlucky.
I think so. Crystal Blade does resolve.
Awesome. Okay, so this is kind of similar to Aaron's Crushing Weight in that it attaches to me, so it's like a blessing.
Hmm.
It's going to make each of the first melee attacks I use each turn deal additional damage and slow the enemy I hit with it, which is pretty cool. So that costs 2 power, and that is attached to me now. And I do believe that I am going to play Sleet Blast for 1 action.
Sleet Blast.
Yes.
Well, I'm thinking that I'm gonna play a card in response.
Okay.
And I think that card's going to be Shield Wall. So, in
Oh,
response to
dang.
the Sleep Blast, I'm going to play Shield Wall. I spend 2 actions to play that. They're up here. This gives me 6 mitigate, and it allows me to go past my maximum mitigate, which is normally 5. So I'm not stopping Sleep Blast from going through necessarily. I'm just going to tank the damage.
So I guess it's not technically meta countered, but yeah.
I guess,
Aaron
yeah,
has
that's the final
effectively,
way that you can play an instant.
yeah, not actually stopping the card from happening, but doing things that negate most of its effect.
So
Great. So that does happen. You gain 6 mitigate, which is a ton. I
let's
gain my
put that
power
on
from
there.
sleep that blast.
And I take
You
4 damage?
are
5?
yes.
6?
Yes. So
Because
all of Shield Wall is broken. All 6 of the mitigate
1,
is gone because
2,
of Crystal
3,
Blade, dealing 2 extra
4,
damage.
5, 6. Oh, Shield Wall feels so good to play. It's
Yeah,
just
you just
great.
blocked. You You're just held fast with your shield as this brutal ice blade comes crashing in.
So I get a
It's
disarm
pretty
from the
neat.
sleep blast and a slow from the crystal blade.
Yep, and that's not blocked by
Dang.
the mitigate. You do still have control. How many cards? You got 3 cards in your hand. I just can't seem to deal damage to you because you're mitigate. You just
I'm a
keep
tank.
mitigating
Yeah.
everything I do. You know what? You've got 2 instances of control on you. I'm concerned about my health. However, your shield slam is affected by silence. And I
Mmm.
have permafrost next to you, which means that at the end of my turn, I am going to slow you 2 more. So I think I'm going to try to dump some control on you and see how well that works out for me. So I'm going to additionally play Crystal Slash
Crystal
for 1
Slash.
and
Ow.
1.
That does resolve. That removes my last mitigate, and then I take 5. I'm at 15.
Finally, blood is drawn. Okay.
Ow. Now,
So
do
you're
you
also
play...
silenced too.
Oh, I'm also silenced too. Very good point. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yes.
Boop, boop.
Literally pointing that out.
So
I had my finger in the screen.
do you
Do I play the
play
last one?
the
No.
last one? I was thinking you
No.
wouldn't.
I'm not going to because I'm going to get 2 more slow on you from permafrost.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm once again going to try to tempo you out by spending my last action to move away. So I'm going to go over
Interesting.
here and I'm going to hope that that's enough to make it difficult for you to do too much next turn. I don't know if it will be. We'll see. But in any case, I will end my turn and you are slowed 2
I'm slowed too.
by
Oof.
permafrost. Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting to see the Cryomancer like kind of fully turning on. Like, I can't. Stewart does great damage. It's pretty sturdy, but it does not play as good of a control game as
Yeah.
Cryomancer decks. So we're gonna game
No.
3. We get a mitigate because we're near a banner, and we draw a card. But let's take a look at what we got. Hammer Strike is great. If I could get up to her, I could bunk her.
Uh-oh.
However,
Yeah.
I got some control on me. Got quite a bit of control on me, and I cannot play this card. Can't play this card because I'm out of range. Can't play this card because I'm out of range and affected by control. Can't play that because I am affected by all types of control.
Yes,
Alrighty.
that was my plan all along.
I have this initiative. Let's see. I think we need to do the classic melee play. I'm going to spend 3 power to remove 3 slow.
The classic melee play.
The classic melee play, I guess I'm just burning my resources. I'm going to spend an initiative. I'm going to go here. And I am
Okay.
going
Yeah.
to, and note, I spent an initiative to move. That doesn't remove control because initiative is
Yeah.
not a resource. That is
Right.
the number one
Exactly.
question that new players ask us, is can I remove
Yes.
control with initiatives? Kind of makes me think maybe we should say
Oh,
yes, but nah.
we almost forgot one thing that's probably not going to come up, but Everfrost also made this tile difficult terrain,
Oh,
which
good
means that if I
point.
try to leave at this point, it's probably going to be harder for me, but we'll see.
All right, I'm going to spend an action to play Hammer Strike.
Oh, yeah, you did say. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we actually haven't seen a heroic card yet, so why are you allowed to play an attack even though you were disarmed?
This card is heroic. That's why it's got that crazy looking shield on it on the left. That means it's not affected by anything, not by Bupkis. It is here and it is ready to smack.
Yep.
Heroic cards more commonly seen in gray and white and range 1, but every color can get them here and there. But I'm going to play
Yeah.
Hammer Strike just to get some 5 damage in.
Well, I can't stop that, and that happens. You don't have your crushing weight out, fortunately for me, so I'm not stunned from it, but I do take 5, so I'm down to 10 now.
So, let's see. This is where I'm at. I think I'm not going to be able to play this Pommel Strike I drew, which is unfortunate, but I should be able to get rid of this control in order to play Shield Slam. So what I'm going to do, although this card is instant, I'm just going to scream and I'm going to slam. This is slightly different from a Shield Slam. This is a Shield Bash. It costs 1 action to play, which gets rid of 1 of my silence, and it's going to disarm 2 Aislyn and give me 3 mitigate.
let's be real. If there were anyone in the entire world of Ivion who would understand the difference between a shield bash and a shield slam, it would probably be the stewards.
Yeah,
Shields are kind
actually,
of their whole thing.
you're right. I'm kind of like talking to like to using layman terms. Shield bash and shield slam are completely different,
They're
and
clearly
yeah,
completely different
they're
arts.
industry terms. Yeah,
Right.
I just don't want to go into the specifics on the stream because this is for new players. But
Right.
if
Okay.
if you become a steward expert, you'll understand. Anyway, so this is a
Mhm.
shield bash.
Yes. I do not have a response to that either, so I am going to be disarmed 2, and
Excellent.
Aaron is going to gain mitigate 3. So once again, proving his tankiness.
And that goes there.
Oh my goodness.
Then I'm going to spend
Yep.
a power to get rid of that silence. And then I've got an action in power. And you know what? You guessed it. It's the square hole. We're going to play. Sorry, I've got that stupid meme
That's how
stuck in my head.
that's how stewards handle problems. They just shield bash them until
Yep.
they go away. Or
Shield
excuse me,
slam.
shield slam
We had it.
them.
We were talking about this. Come on.
Yeah,
Goodness
I should know these
gracious.
things at
So I'm
this
going to shield
point.
slam you for 5 damage.
Yep.
And since I have mitigate, you get stunned.
Oh, dang it. My last power is gone yet again. Okay.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. I also had resilience, so I have a whole nother mitigate. I would have gotten 2 from it, but
Oh, you're
I'm
so
at maxed.
tanky.
I'm maxed out on my mitigate.
You
E-
are. Oh my gosh.
You're just
This
thinking
isn't
like
looking good for me, guys.
you're gonna stop gaining 5 mitigate every turn, right, Anakin? Right, Anakin?
Doesn't stop.
It's never
Yeah,
gonna
no,
stop. No, I've.
seriously.
This is actually 1 mitigate for each shield my character has on them. Like I've got 1 on my head. I got 1 on both arms. I got 2 on 1 on each leg. We're ready to go. We're shielded up.
Do you even have time to do that in this battle?
I'm very quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. I assume it's my turn
It
then.
is your turn.
Great. Well, let's see what we can do. We have like no resources. We're disarmed.
Oof.
Oh. If I wasn't disarmed, this would have been a great card to draw. Unfortunately, I am disarmed, which means this might be a really bad turn. Might be my last turn given the circumstances. I think the only oh man.
Oh, I think you're
It
on the ropes here.
I'm really on the ropes. I think I'm gonna spend my last
Do you draw
my
or do
my
you
initiative to
move?
draw. I'm drawing.
Oof.
That's
uh,
affected by disarm too. That means like everything I have is affected by disarm, which means I can't play any of the cards. Oh, contextual control, so good. I'm in trouble. So I think what I need to do here is I just need to move. Uh, I could just pay off the disarm, but I think it's just slightly more effective for me to move. So I'll spend an action to move. I'm moving into this difficult terrain, which is denoted by this token right here. That means it costs me 1 more resource to go into it. I only have an action to pay, so I have to spend an extra action. However, that does mean that I spent 2 resources for the purposes of removing control. Because remember, you remove control whenever you spend resources in any way.
mhm.
So that disarm is gone. However, I only have 1 action left. So there's really not much I can do. A single shield slam will incapacitate me because certainly the steward wouldn't kill a watcher of the Isles, right? That
Haha.
would be murder.
That would be murder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I don't want to die to just a shield slam. I want to die with honor. So I will play cold shape to gain 2 mitigate that a single shield slam does not kill me.
Okay.
So I gain my own mitigate to have effectively 7 hit points. And you know what? We haven't played Raven's Eye. You've only got 2 cards in your hand. I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to use my character's ultimate ability. It costs me 1 power. It's called Raven's Eye. It's effectively trying to sell the flavor of my Raven is like seeing what my opponents are doing and relaying that information to the watcher somehow. They've got a good connection. Anyways, so Aaron's going to have to reveal a card from his hand. And then if he didn't, sorry, I'm going to gain an initiative unless he reveals an ability card.
Now,
So the
here's
card he
actually an
reveals is an
interesting
ability.
thing: is this crushing weight in my hand is revealed already. She's seen it. She knows where it is. It's actually right here, which means
It
I
is,
have to
yeah.
reveal this, which is a pommel strike, which is an attack. And since I
Oh my
revealed, I didn't
gosh.
reveal an ability, she gets
I
an
gained an
initiative.
initiative. That's great. Now, unfortunately, moving an extra tile is probably not going to save me. So I'm just really at this point like hoping I'm going to draw a mist line or something. So I
Yeah,
draw an extra
I
card.
was thinking that was going to be the line you'd go for.
And at this point, I don't have any instance I'm holding up. I don't have any more cards I can play. I'm just hoping. I pass to you, Aaron.
All right.
Do what you will.
What I will do is probably a pommel strike. Let's see. Do that.
Oh yeah, I see that you
Gain an
literally have a
initiative.
pommel
I'm gonna
strike.
initiative here. I'm gonna play a pommel strike. Pop,
Yeah,
pop,
okay, I'm pommel struck. The
pop.
pommel has strucketh me, and I am down to 2 health, and I'm stunned, and
And
I'm disarmed.
I'm
All perfectly
gonna
fine things.
finish it up with a tidy shield slam.
The Watcher begs not to be shield slammed for the like 5th time. That falls on deaf ears. The shield slam. The Watcher is heartily defeated by the steward.
Huzzah! Yay!
There was much rejoicing by the clan as the winterborn child was not taken. Well,
Yay!
guys, that was the Ram versus the Raven starter deck. The cards in each of those decks are quite varied.
Hmm.
So even if the steward won this game, it's very possible that the watcher could win the next. So you don't know what's going to happen when you open your own box and play your first match with someone. These
Absolutely.
decks are designed to be fairly simple. They are varied. They show off the different elements that comprise Ivion, and they're going to help you learn and move forward so that you can start hero crafting, playing the intermediate pre-constructed decks, or even if you're into that kind of thing, learn more about how to make your own deck and how to make that deck good.
And I just want to say, for credit to my watcher friend, if you're watching this and you're thinking, man, the Watcher kind of got done dirty there. The Steward seems super powerful. Just so you know, in most of the Ivian community's tier lists, Watcher is handedly considered one of the highest, like one of the most capable specs. It is incredibly powerful, has an incredible instant suite, is one of the most terrifying specs in the game. I assume you'd agree, Aislinn?
I would
Yeah,
agree. It's
yeah.
funny when you put it that way, though, because I lost so handily that it makes it look like I just totally mishandled the Watcher, which might be the case. Maybe I could have had like a way better game. Maybe I misplayed. It's hard to say. But anyways, Anna Emperor does have a question really quick about what happened. One last thing that happened during this game. He asks, so the card that was sent back to your hand is still considered to have been revealed?
Yeah,
The answer
so
is yes.
if you have a rulebook handy, there's actually a section talking about that. If a card ever enters an area where cards in that area are considered public knowledge, so if it ever enters the battlefield or a discard, um, that card is now revealed, and even if it then enters a zone that is hidden information, it stays revealed. A revealed status is a one-way ticket. Once something's revealed, you always know where it is. Um,
Yeah,
with the exception of if you shuffle your deck. If any,
with that card
if
in
a
your
hidden
deck.
zone is randomized, all revealed cards are unrevealed. But other than that,
Yeah.
which can happen from I think literally 2 cards in the game, um, other than that, cards are once they become revealed, they're always revealed.
Yep, for sure. All right, and with that, I think we are going to bid everyone adieu. Um, if you have any friends who don't know about Avian but might want to learn a little bit about how to play, you can direct them to this video, this VOD that's going to be up for a little bit longer during the campaign.
Hmm.
And this was just one of the boxes, guys. So there's 5 more boxes that are currently available for purchase in the campaign.
Yes.
If you get more and more, you're going to get more heroes. You're going to get more cards you can use to customize your heroes. You're just going to get so many more things to just expand how you can play Avian, which is really
And
cool.
there's another reason you might want to do that is the more you get, the closer we get to that 60,000 stretch goal, which is going to add an
Mm-hmm.
entirely new trait to the trait pack free of charge. We have a lot of really cool things planned, but we just got to get the word out there. Tell your friends about
Yeah.
Ivion. Um, we are two people making this game, and we love it. And the more people we get to play it, the more we can keep making cards. So if you want more Ivion, tell people about Ivion. It's an awesome game, but we need word of mouth. That's
We
just the
do.
number one way you can help make Ivion a success. If you want to see, a change in the competitive card game scene and just see something new, yeah, help us out. Uh, we're very
Totally.
excited. We're also getting to that
We
stretch goal
are.
pretty quick. We're like what 2,500 away or so, thereabouts.
Yeah, at this point we're getting
Just
fairly
a
close
little
to
under
it.
3,000. So we're definitely gonna get
Yeah.
there, and we're very excited to see how far we can stretch this campaign. We're already doing amazing. We're almost 6 times our starting funding goal. So.
Yeah, can you believe that? That's crazy. Well, in any case, we don't want to make this stream go on too long because we want
Hmm.
it to be a nice starter video for people to learn a little bit more about the game. So with that, we are going to say goodbye to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And once again, tell your friends about Ivian. Tell your friends about the campaign. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.